Hey guys, welcome back to Super Switch U. I'm super excited for the end of this week, which I get. I have not recorded a video since Saturday, and I apologize for that. It's been kind of a weird, crazy, hectic week trying to go back to work and figuring out all the newness of two babies and work and trying to sleep, and it's been rough. But as of yesterday, yesterday, um, the 10th, they officially announced it. So, happy birthday to this guy. Nintendo Direct Switch 1 and Switch 2 coverage for about an hour, September 12th. My birthday. Whoop whoop. Uh, so that's tomorrow. That is Friday at 8 a.m. We are getting a full-blown, massive scale Nintendo Direct. So hopefully we're going to get a lot more Switch 2 stuff to look forward to. There might be a few last little bits of Switch 1 stuff. I'm like super pumped and excited for it. I actually might try to see if I can do a live stream of the actual event. So if you guys are awake 8 a.m. Central Time, which is like 6 Pacific and 9 Eastern or something. I don't know Eastern time. It's like 9 or 10. But if you guys are up and you want to like come watch it with me, and I got this thing going, we'll do this. We will we'll do a Nintendo Direct on my birthday. Woo! Uh, it's so crazy. It really is because they don't do Nintendo Directs on Friday. For the longest time, it has been Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays with the occasional weird like Sunday museum thing. But I think it's been a long time since we have had Wednesday or not Wednesday, but Friday presentations, and they decided to do it on my birthday. Oh, so you know, super excited. I've already done a video once predicting like my 5 top uh, predictions for a direct presentation back before we knew that we were getting one. So I don't know that I want to like go back through those top 5. I don't know. We might see how long this video ends up being. But today we will do a prediction of sorts. Um, the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition game. I would like to try to give a prediction list, and then you know what? Hold that thought. Let me pause. Come right back here. Okay. Sorry about that. I wanted to quickly add something to this video, and I had to kind of come up with it real quick. It's okay because I kind of know what I wanted for that. So originally we were gonna do Switch 2 Edition predictions for this direct, things that actually have a chance of showing up in some capacity, whether it's real low, real high. My top 10 thoughts on what would show up for a Switch 2 Edition, because I'm convinced we're going to see these at least through 2026, if not 2027, for filling in gaps between Switch 2 titles. Because it does seem like there are some very substantial gaps in the release schedule, probably from extended game development time. But I can't say that for sure. I'm not in the industry. I don't know. I'm just guessing based off of the knowledge that I have. However, I paused so I could create a secondary list. So we got 2 lists, 2 top 10s, because this is special and it is happening on my birthday. So the second list is my birthday wish list for this direct. My top 10 games, whether it's just a game for a series and not something specific, and then there are a few things that are specific sprinkled in there. So we'll do that one second. But man, I'm excited. Hopefully we get some new announcements. We get some release dates on the stuff that we don't know, like Age of Imprisonment and Metroid Prime 4, along with things like Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life. That would be amazing. So pretty much all I got to say specifically on the direct. But let's just directly get into this thing. I'm sorry. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a really good mood because Again, like this is the best way to celebrate a 33rd birthday. Just saying. So, uh, let's just jump in. Let's just do this. So, Switch 2 editions. Scoured the list since 2017. I looked back through everything. I did not include anything that is on the free updates list, like anything that has gotten those free enhancements that they gave out to things like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and new Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, I think, was one. No, Super Mario 3D World had one. Stuff like that. The things that already got upgrades, so they're like definitely not going to get a Switch 2 edition because they've already been enhanced. But the things that right now only have just the generic up resolution for the Switch 2. What would make sense for that, whether it's graphical improvements, frame rate improvements, uh, inclusion of camera or mouse functionality, or just games that deserve another chance. And so you could literally just throw them back on here, just tweak it a little bit, and like a lot of people would probably be pretty happy. So with that, we're going to start at the bottom. New Pokemon Snap would be my number 10 pick. And that's just because I feel like with that camera, you could actually give it some really neat new features. Take pictures of yourself and put it in there and add Pokemon into it, or like some VR weird stuff and like make it look like the Pokemon are interacting behind you, and then take the cool pictures. Stuff like that would be cool. Aiming the camera with the mouse controls would actually probably improve that quite a bit. And I do think that just graphically and frame rate, it could be a little more crisp, I think. Again, I don't always see these things, so like this is probably not the most accurate, like these are the top things that need improvement, but a couple things, could be nicer. You could see some stuff further in the background. It could all look really good. You could take just better, clearer pictures. Because why not? It's a game about taking pictures of Pokemon. So that's number 10. Number 9, WarioWare, Get It Together. Not the last one to come out, not Move It, that did the motion controls and stuff, because that made sense. It was pretty well off on its own. I mean the one where like you played the mini games as whichever character you picked and just kind of interchanged them, and so you navigated them around to play the mini games. Mouse control would probably be okay with that. Which I think I've been saying basically since the beginning of Switch 2, when we found out for sure that there was mouse control with the Switch Joy-Cons, that it only makes sense to release a WarioWare, and it would be mouse control focused. Now, Switch 2 Edition's not quite the way I imagined this, but it could work. It could actually be pretty decent. Now, does it need to be a $70 or $80 game? Probably not. It's a pretty old one, and it's a WarioWare. You could, drop that price a little bit, give us a little bit of a break. Number 8, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. This is kind of a long shot because it's already been on Wii U and then brought over the very end of Switch 1. But people complain about the graphics and the frame rate. I know Switch 1 made that quite a bit better, and I feel like if you tweak it just a little bit more, like people would probably think it's a perfect game. I haven't beat it, so I'll probably be buying it for the third time and still not actually touching it. But I should. I really should. It's on my list of games to beat, and I started the game, and then Switch 2 came out, and was like, well, I'm done. I'm all Switch 2 at this point. Not like forever, but it's a new system. I'm going to be playing stuff. The next two should be pretty obvious because they've already been announced, but these are not games that have released, but they actually could benefit from things like the camera and the motion controls and stuff like that. So number 7 being Rhythm Heaven Groove, and 6 being Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream. Both of those were shown just before, like a week before the Switch 2 announcement direct presentation in April. They were not said at the time to be coming to Switch 2, and they have not shown up in any kind of presentation since that one in March. So we have no release dates. We have just a little bit of a teaser trailer that they gave us for both games, but We've not seen them in any capacity, but these could end up being Switch 2 editions because I gotta be honest, going forward, if Nintendo's doing a Switch 1 game, I'm expecting every single one of them to be Switch 2 editions because why would you not at this point? You've got the 130, 140, whatever million install base of the Switch 1. And then you've got the new install base of the Switch 2. You just have this massive market that you could sell to by making Switch 1 games Switch 2 editions. It doesn't really take away from people who only play the Switch 1. It just adds a little bit for those of us who play on Switch 2. So I do actually expect those to be said to be Switch 2 editions. And of course, I'll be an idiot and I'll buy them for $10 or $20 extra, whatever it ends up being, assuming that I'm not super poor and can afford to do so. So now we're going to get to the top 5 of this list. Next one is not something that's said. I feel like this thing is going to show up for the first time in this direct, and they're just going to market it to both because it makes sense that way. And that would be a Metroid Prime 2+3 HD collection, whatever you'd want to call it. Not so much a remaster like Metroid Prime 1 got, but more like Pikmin 1 and 2 whenever they got re-released and they were together and they had some of those improvements, but not completely built from the ground up to be better. They'd just be, here you go, you can play the entire Metroid Prime series and just in time for Metroid Prime 4. So I not only expect that to show up, it's a high chance that it will show up and be this year at some point, even if it's just right before 4 comes out or like early October or something. But there's a chance it could be after. I think the Pikmin 1 and 2 physical release was after Pikmin 4, which was fine because I still bought them, and you didn't have to play 1 and 2 in order to play Pikmin 4. And I feel like that might be the case with Metroid Prime 4. I think the important one was Metroid Prime 1, but then 2 and 3 may not actually like specifically connect into 4, where it might be more connected to 1. So if they do come out like later on after the fact, that would probably still work too. Number 4, this one's really more just a push of I don't think we're going to see the next installment in this game for a while because certain things recently. Number 4, I'm going to say Smash Bros. Ultimate. And that's just because they could take all the DLC and stick it together on a cartridge with everything that's there, give us maybe a few more of the stages that were not included from previous titles, and maybe a couple like special characters into it, release it as a Switch 2 edition, better graphics, frame rate, just overall quality of life improvements. I don't think that the mouse controls would benefit Smash Bros, but game chat probably would. And by probably, like actually, if you have people that you can game chat with, that seems like the ultimate win right there. You would want more of these multiplayer party type games coming over and just getting game chats. So it seems like a pretty good chance, especially since Sakurai was working on Kirby Air Riders. So he probably wasn't putting work into Smash Bros. So even if they are working on one without him, it's probably still pretty far off. So that's number 4. Number 3, Smash Bros. Or not Smash Bros. Yeah, just put Smash Bros. For like all 4 at the top. No, number 3, Super Mario Bros. Wonder Plus. Like a plus. I feel like that game, it would have the basic upgrades to graphics and performance and frame rate and blah, 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 blah. But I think they would add in something like a Super Luigi Bro Wonder or something. Like all the Mario games where they get like plus Bowser's Fury or plus Bowser Jr. something, whatever. It would have something like that, I would think. So, yeah. It seems pretty likely because 40th anniversary for Mario, we're going to see more Mario presence in this thing. So, it made sense. The next one, it's probably the highest likely because they've released this game so many times. I don't care about it, and technically it is not a Nintendo property, but the Switch 1 version was published by Nintendo. So Nintendo could publish a Switch 2 edition to the same game, and most of you guys would just lose your minds. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Uh, yeah, because they've released it everywhere else. Why not a Switch 2 edition? Just put it out there and make the people happy. Uh, yeah, let them have cake and eat it too, or something like that. And then my number one choice for a Switch 2 edition to show up is this very much Mario 40th anniversary written all over it, inspired by things like Mario Bros. Wonder to add in new content. Mouse controls make sense. Game chat makes sense. All of the features that Switch 2 offers basically makes sense to this game. Super Mario Maker 2. I feel like they could bring it in and they could add in Mario Bros. Wonder stages and just that's it. And like boom, you could do that. New course types that could be made, all kinds of stuff, and it makes it relevant again. It feels like that's probably the most likely thing to show up here in this direct. So that's my top 10 picks for Switch 1 games to get Switch 2 editions, plus the one that is, maybe they'd announce it, maybe they won't. Now, the last section of this. I'm trying to make this quick because I'd like to get it uploaded tonight because 8 a.m. tomorrow, Nintendo is coming to town with my birthday present of Direct. I know that has nothing to do with me because they have no idea who I am, even though I've supported them since 1992. So, I mean, I didn't have money as a baby, but you know what? Like I've been playing systems from Nintendo since me and my brother were playing NES when I was so young that I barely remember it. I have little like flashes of playing Mario Bros. 3 after we had gotten rid of the NES, but it was not gone. It was taken to my grandparents' house, and so we'd go over there and we would play it there, and that's what I remember. But we did technically own it before that, and so what I remember, my furthest back memories are Super Nintendo, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, F-Zero, Goof Troop, if you want to throw out one of the weird ones, the Power Ranger games, like the fighting one that wasn't really based on the movie. We had that one. We had the one that was a Mario Kart clone. We had Mario Kart. So all kinds of stuff. We had that. We had the 64. We missed the Cube basically its entire lifetime. We got it the year before the Wii came out. So it's probably my least played system of all of them, but it's still a good one. We had the original Game Boy. I got a Game Boy Color for my birthday one year. There was the green one bundled with Pokemon Crystal. It was amazing. This is not how this video is supposed to go, but I'll talk about my experiences with Nintendo through the years because that's my birthday tomorrow. Might as well talk about it anyway. But 33 years of supporting these guys. Yeah, and I could try to hide it, be like, yeah, we'll talk about all the systems, but when Sony goes back to making good systems, and Xbox goes back to making good systems, and Sega shows back up to make some consoles, we'll talk about the other guys. But PlayStation 5, I have zero interest in, like none. And Xbox Series, everything is elsewhere and in the Game Pass, and I don't see a reason to spend, what is that now, $700 for an Xbox Series X? Nah, I'm going to pass. But we'll talk about Nintendo till the day we die, even if I drop out with Switch 2 at the end of its lifetime, because I'll be too old to care. Not really, like it's what's going to be. But it's fine. It's fine. Don't cry for me. Because I'm going to have a few good years with this, I think. With me and the boys, Logan and Joseph, as they grow up and they learn how to play games. So this is how Daddy's going to teach them, is with Switch 1 and Switch 2. And there's enough of that collection from the things that I grew up with and the new stuff. I should be able to give them a very good, healthy game experience. And then I expect after Switch 2, whatever consoles come next, it's their story at this point. It'll be getting them the consoles they want to play and let them do their own thing. And if they want If they want dear old dad to play with them, I'd still be there. But I'll stick with Switch 1 and Switch 2 after that. That's all I'm going to have left in me, I think. But it's okay, because if this lasts anywhere near what Switch 1 lasts, which Switch 1 got 8 years, that was crazy. But if we even get just the 6, that is fairly standard for most Nintendo consoles that do better than, Wii U, then would be 39, pushing 40. Yeah, that feels like the time to jump out. Like, I'm done. But you get to watch me turn into an old man. That's what we'll get to do here. But to the list, here's my birthday list for Nintendo. So hopefully you guys got me something good this year. I feel like I've been good enough to earn at least something off this list, and it would be great if we do. So, without any more delays or talking about my own personal life and history and things from up to 33 years ago, number 10. I mentioned it in the other list. I'm going to mention it here too. WarioWare, because I love those games. They're real simple. They're quick, but the wackiness, the zaniness of it, the little mini games, the fact that you don't do much but they're quick, and if you're not fully paying attention, like it tests your whole concentration. Just I love them. They're not the greatest game in the world. They're not my top, but I feel like every system needs at least one. So my birthday wish list one would be a brand new title to show off camera, mini games, and mouse control mini games, because for the first time in the series, mouse control would actually be available, and so that could add a whole new element to this style of game, and I think it could be fun. Number 9 is game specific. It is a title from the Wii U that we are missing still to this day. Yoshi's Woolly World had been rumored for a bit. There was an image that leaked that was like in the background, and people made it out, and it was Yoshi's Woolly World. I want that. It was a really good game. I liked it. I want to play it again. I want to be able to preserve that in the one collection that however, I came to the conclusion to keep that one. That it'll be my most complete collection on one system. So give us Woolly World. Thank you. Please and thank you. That's what we want. Smash Bros. And not Ultimate Switch 2 Edition. I mentioned it in the other one because it was likely. I didn't mean that I want that. That's not what I want. I want a new one. I want new fighters. I want new stages. I want new story mode. I want a new game. From the ground up, even if they just mention that Smash Bros. Is in development and we don't see it for another like 3 to 4 years, just tell us you're working on it. That's what I want. Number 7, a remake of some sort for Pokemon Johto. As I mentioned before, on one of my birthdays, I feel like it was the early 2000s, maybe the latest of the 90s, but I think it was like 2001. I got Crystal version, and Johto's always been one of my favorites when it comes to Pokemon. We had Silver version before I got Crystal, and so it doesn't have to be the style of the new games. It could get the same treatment as Diamond and Pearl, and it would just make me feel really nostalgic. It could also be Let's Go. If it was the sequel to Let's Go, it's not perfect, but it's different enough that it's fun, and the fact that you can do the 2 players, and so like one of my kids could help me just throw the Pokeballs at the Pokemon, and I could have the fun of Johto without having to buy a second system. I would really like that in some capacity. That would be really nice. Number 6, this is probably the most far-fetched thing that I have ever suggested for Switch 2, but just hear me out. Elite Beat Agents needs to make a comeback. I loved it on the DS. Like, I loved that game. Rhythm games are like my jam. Dude, like for real. I love the Dance Dance Revolution games, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, Donkey Konga, the uh, I can't think of the name because it's real Japanesey, but the drum game, uh, that one, yeah. But Elite Beat Agents was fantastic. The touch controls to do the rhythms to playing these games, and you were these wacky secret agent guys that were just helping people to a beat as they like danced around and stuff. Like you could do that. Mouse control could make that happen. I'm reaching for justification here, but give it a good soundtrack like some of that had, and give us Elite Beat Agents. Give me Elite Beat Agents. Like you would at least have one sale, no matter what price tag. If you put that as an $80, even a $90 game, I would still buy it, because I've been waiting for another one since the DS. So the like mid to late 2000s. I've been waiting almost 20 years for another Elite Beat Agents. So please, oh please, Nintendo, give us some Elite Beat Agents. I need it. Number 5. This one's actually heavily rumored, so it's got a pretty good chance of showing up. Mario 40th. So Mario Galaxy 2. It's one of the few main Mario games that have not been brought over to the system whatsoever. I try not to count the online service because you can't physically own that, and so it feels like it's not really there, because at any day like they could just take the whole service away and you've got nothing, right? So I don't try to count that, but even if I did count the service, so you have things like Super Mario World, Mario Bros 1, 2, and 3, the Lost World, or Lost World, Lost, no, I don't know what game I was thinking. Holy crap, no, Mario Land. Jesus. You could play all those on there, but there is no Wii online classics or whatever. So when they brought Galaxy in 3D All Stars, it was amazing. It's fantastic, and I still have my 3D All Stars. But what I don't have is a way to play Galaxy 2 without going back out and finding a Wii, which is, I mean, it's kind of easy enough to do, I suppose. I just, having 1.5 million consoles around the house with small hands that pull wires and knock things down and break stuff, it's not ideal. For a good 5-6 years, it's not ideal. So if they could just give us that, and I could just keep that to a very safe place, it would be good. It would be really good. Now, talking about 40th anniversaries, next year starts the Legend of Zelda 40th anniversary, and it would be the 20th anniversary for this said game that I have mentioned in previous videos, and I will mention it again because they have not brought it to the GameCube online service. So they didn't even tease it. So it's open, right? They clearly did not want you to know that one because they gave us Wind Waker. So at this point, you should know. I'm talking Twilight Princess, but specifically Twilight Princess HD, ported. Even if it's limited time, like if it's just the 1 year or 6 months or whatever, like 3D All Stars got, but you put Twilight Princess out there, and so we can own it and we can physically have it on Switch 2, or Switch 2 Edition, or Switch 1. You know what? I'm not even picky. Any of this list, Switch 1. Give us a way to play these games. That's what I want. Next one, Fire Emblem. We got a decent amount of Fire Emblem support on Switch 1, and that was amazing. I would love to see one for Switch 2. Just give us a new one. Give us a remake to an old one. Give us a port, remaster, whatever from the 3DS. I'd be set. Or just a new entry, just more Fire Emblem. Just keep those things rolling, because that's what I want. Number 2 is a bit of a long shot because of GameCube Online, but we did get it brought back to the 3DS, and we've got playability for the other 2 games in the series. So I'm just going to say it again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Luigi's Mansion 1. The first one. Give us an HD remaster on Switch 2 physical cartridge It's very important, right? My birthday list. I can be as specific as I want to. The first one. It would be awesome to see four, but I would rather have one and be caught up, and then we could talk about four. And then to have to do a drum roll here. Number one, Star Fox. Literally any Star Fox. I won't even be picky with this one. You have skipped Star Fox by completely on Switch 1. And the only things that we got that included Star Fox in any capacity was that crappy Toys to Life game. Atlas, whatever crap that was. I mean, the figures were cool, but it was never a Star Fox game. And no matter how much I tried to play it like a Star Fox game, it wasn't a Star Fox game. And Smash Bros. And no matter how much you play Smash Bros, it's never gonna be a Star Fox game. So, something. Like this is how desperate I am for a physical release Star Fox for Switch 2. It could be Star Fox 64 for the 100th freaking time. I'd still buy it. But just something. Like, if not that one, Star Fox Adventure, Star Fox Assault, Star Fox Zero, Star Fox Command from the DS. I don't know how you would make that one work, but figure it out. Super Star Fox, Star Fox 2. New game. Brand new game in the series. Something. But, again, Nintendo, I've been supporting you guys for 33 years. I've been playing your games. I've been buying your stuff. I've gone to events where I possibly can. So anything you do in Oklahoma, I'm there, right? I've supported for so long that you could do me a solid and give us a Star Fox. I mean, I don't know if I even still have the video up. I did a fan dub for one of the scenes in Star Fox 64 when Star Wolf shows up, because I've quoted that for my brother for years and years and years in voice. I will probably do it again at some point for this channel. Yeah, you guys know the scene. You can't sit there and pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about, right? They're flying in, it's like the enemies are coming from the base. It's like, geez, can anyone take care of this? Can't let you do that, Star Fox. Andros has ordered us to take you down. Andros's enemies are my enemies. Pappy, long time no see. That one. That iconic scene from 64. Yeah. If you're here for video game stuff, I bet you didn't realize that I do voice acting too. That's what this channel started for. Actually, to be fair, no, it started for animation. I was doing animation stuff. Then it became voice acting for like 10 years. And then now we are here at trying this crap. So, yeah, if you ever want me to do more weird impersonations and quotes from video games, I can give it a shot. I don't have a lot, but I do pride myself on Pigma. But jokes aside, though, yeah, Star Fox, anything Star Fox. I'm desperate at this point, because what you will learn about me is my taste in games is kind of weird. So some of my top picks are always going to be Star Fox. It's going to be the Luigi games. It's going to be stuff like Donkey Konga and Elite Beat Agents. And yeah, like, I'm a weirdo. It's fine. I know who I am. I know that I'm okay with all of it. So if you're cool with it, man, just stick around. We will talk all the obscure titles. Those things. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is like one of my all-time favorite games. It's kind of weird. The Xenoblade Chronicles, I never thought were going to be my top favorites, but 2 is probably the best game I think ever made. I'm not going to put stock in that because I have not actually done like my all-time favorites, because I can't. Nostalgia kind of clouds a lot of things. but holy crap, some of those games just fail in comparison to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and now Donkey Kong Bonanza. But anyway, so that's what I got for the prediction part for Switch 2 editions and my wish list. And again, I try not to do a lot of predictions for third party because it is so infinite, right? Because you could have Square Enix come out of nowhere with a brand new yeah, Square Enix comes out with a Fire Emblem. That's probably the most shocking thing. Final Fantasy. If they come out with like a brand new Final Fantasy, you could have Bandai Namco do some kind of a Dragon Ball game or a One Piece game or a Naruto game or an anime insert title here game. It could be, yeah. It would be great. Okay, so let's we'll do a third party prediction. Here we go. They're going to release a Switch 2 game for an anime that I have auditioned for an English dub at Funimation. That's what they're gonna do. And would you like to know what that list is? Because only one of them seems realistic at this point. Maybe two. One Piece. This is in order of how I auditioned to, just so you know. So One Piece, Fairy Tail, Tokyo Ravens. The last one's never gonna happen, but yeah, those first two, yeah. And if you're curious, I have no idea who I auditioned for in One Piece. It was sort of an like a in general audition for season 5, I believe. It was the story arc with the Sea Train as they were going off to where Frankie gets introduced. But there was no character specific auditions for that one. But Fairy Tail had some. Now Pudding was one. There was a third guy that I don't remember. But the most important one to me, because I feel like I had the closest chance to getting this role, was not Now Pudding. It was God, I already forgot. I already just wiped my memory. Give me a second to focus up here. It was Chapati Lola from the Grand Magic Games, the big-headed announcer guy who like loses his hair. Right? I had a list. Like I could have auditioned for a lot of people, but I saw him on there, and I'm like, that's my guy, man. It was like, welcome to the Grand Magic Games. Like that would have been him if it was me, right? And then it was just like crazy screams, like oh, like or something like that. If he like had his hair fly off or whatever, I don't remember the lines. We're talking way back in 2014. And I haven't heard back from Funimation since, so I probably pissed somebody off. Like something happened, and they don't want me back. It's fine. It's fine, guys. I don't need the anime stuff. That was mostly joking. The whole I just wanted to talk. I'm feeling nostalgic for things, and you guys, if you stick around this long in the videos, you're going to learn some stuff about me, and I'm just going to start blurting out information. Like, yes, I did actually go to Funimation in Texas. As far as they knew, I lived in Denton, Texas. But I didn't. I lived in Prague, Oklahoma. Yeah, I did. I lied a little bit. I fudged a resume. I could say this comfortably because I doubt that they are going to call me. It's been way too freaking long, and I can't get anybody to answer me anymore. But no, I fudged some stuff onto a resume, so I really hadn't done a whole lot. I was in college, and I was taking some theater classes, and I could do the funny voices. 'Cause for a long time, I would mess with people on like Halo 3 online, and I had this Indian accent and was messing with people, called myself Booty Man, and I was just like, even when I was getting my butt kicked, I would still trash talk people like I was winning. It was great. But from that point, I was trying to do voice acting, and it didn't go anywhere on the professional side. I got more film work and theater roles than I did voice acting, which is kind of weird because I was like, man, I don't have the face for film, but yet I ended up doing like 2 theatrically released movies, TV series for ABC where they basically cut me out completely, but I still got the paycheck from them, which was not enough at all to make that worth it. Some commercials for like Fox 25 News and stuff like that, car companies, but never the voice acting side. All the stuff I did for voice acting, you can find here basically. I did a couple of video game voice acting auditions though, just as an interesting tidbit. One of them was for Switch 1. But I did Mass Effect Andromeda, and I didn't get it. And then I auditioned for. This was more of like a contest, I feel like, but it felt like an audition, kind of. It was a spin-off to the Disgaea series. What the crap was that called? The little penguin thing. It had its own series of games from the PSP, and they were putting it on as a collection for the Switch 1. And so they were like getting so many people to do the voices for the different penguins. So like if you died, it would be somebody else. And I didn't get that, but it would have been really cool because there's like a prize pack and it came with a game and like some blankets and stuff and merchandise. It would have been really cool. I did not get it. I think I still have. I did a video on here. I did like 4 different voices, and I was like, you guys should check this out and tell me which voice I should send. And yeah, it didn't go anywhere. So that's my voice work for video games. It was those 2, and then I technically got cast in like a really indie game for mobile that also didn't go anywhere. It was a zombie survival game, and I was a character that was like, it was an NPC, just so you guys know. And then like they were supposed to like cut my throat or something, and I remember struggling trying to get that scream and trying to get it to sound realistic, and then nothing happened with it. So yeah, and I never got to do video game stuff. It's disappointing, but it was a wild ride. I tried for a long time, got married, and started trying to have kids, and I just sort of fell out and haven't done the voice acting thing since. Which is really sad because I swore vengeance against Ian Sinclair, and I have not gotten that vengeance. But I swear, by all that I am, I will tear him asunder, and I will steal a role from him like he did for me. No, seriously, and I'll tell this story. I don't know if I've told it on the channel, but I'll tell it now because you guys are still watching. If you're still watching at 43 minutes, you get the secret surprise story from Ian Sinclair, the one time that I interacted with him. So this was at Funimation, right? This was in 2014. I had met him once prior to that at a anime convention. It was just real nerdy stuff and got signatures. Because of course he wouldn't have remembered who I was, and I knew who he was, but it would have been creepy to act like we knew each other. So treated it like I'd never met the guy. Just any other guy. But it was after the Fairy Tail audition, but the same day I had the Tokyo Ravens audition. So I had to kind of wait till it was my turn to go in. And I was sitting in the lobby area, and he came out like he had just done either a recording or an audition or something, and just like the only 2 people in that room, besides maybe somebody at the desk, and I feel like there wasn't even anybody there. He comes out, he like takes a drink of water and like starts choking on it, like drowning, and I made some kind of stupid joke. I don't even remember what it said, like you need water wings or something. Like I don't remember. It was stupid. As like we kind of laughed at it, and then we were still just kind of hanging in there. So I was like, so like what kind of advice would you give somebody who's about to go in there, really wants to just get that first role? And so he's real nice about it. Just looks right at me. He's like, you give it the best that you got. You give it everything you have, and if they're gonna pick you, they're gonna pick you, and if they're not, there's always next time. Maybe not word for word what he said, but it was basically that. Again, I'm trying to remember from like 11 years ago. I might have brain damage. I don't know. So anyway, so he gives me this advice, and then like he gets called back to go in there again, and he does something, and I don't see him again. And then a few minutes later, I get to go in, and I audition for Tokyo Ravens. And of the characters that I tried for, and you know what? Let me pull it up real quick, because I want to give you guys the actual name of the character, because I tried for 3, and I'm never gonna remember the names to any of these people. But one of them looked like a bad guy. One was the actual like main protagonist, and then one was like the friend of the protagonist. So let me come in here and like see the actual cast. Right, I don't. What's messed up is I don't even judge the other people that like got the roles that I didn't. We have the English cast. Here it is. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Does this have a description? Haruto, I think, is the main guy. And if that's the case, this Clifford Chapin got him instead of me. So, you know, boo on him. Right? But he wasn't there. He didn't give me advice before I went in. No. That was Ian Sinclair. That was Mother and Ian Sinclair who got Toji in that series. And I auditioned for, like, that was probably my best one of the 3, if we're being honest, right? Because the main guy, I took my voice and I kind of went up with it a little bit. Like, I was kind of up here, you know. But for Toji, he was a little bit bigger guy. He was kind of a punk, and so I was about here. Like, I'm not far off from my regular voice, but something that seemed realistic to that character. And no, I wasn't good enough, but Ian Sinclair somehow was good enough. I feel like there was some favoritism, right? Because how was I supposed to compete with somebody on his level? You know how you do that? You don't compete with somebody on that level, because that's cheap. That's cheap, crap, garbage. So I've sworn vengeance against him ever since, that I will one day steal a role from him. That we are going to try for the same thing, and I'm going to get it this time, right? And then they stopped calling me. Like, not that I told anybody over, like, nobody knew this. This has kind of been like my own personal little secret. But now that it's 2025 and I haven't heard from them, and I'm in my 30s, and like, I doubt I ever get a call. If I do, I'm going. Like, I'll be on the road and in there in like 3 hours. And it shouldn't take 3 hours to get there, but as long as there's no cops, I'll get there in 3 hours. But I still have that vengeance in my heart, that I'm gonna steal something from him. Watch your back, Ian. That's your real name, Ian. Anyway, so yeah. I mean, a whole end of this was not what it was supposed to be, but it's okay, right? Because if you watched to the end, congratulations, you now know a little bit about me. And if you didn't, shame on you. Go back and watch the whole thing. Watch my spiel. I do this because I care. So yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? Something Nintendo Direct, my birthday. Yeah, that. Oh, but it's fine. We're having fun. It's my birthday. I feel like I could have fun on my birthday. I got caught. Oh no. Everybody else is awake now. So I'm gonna have to end the video here. But if you liked anything I talked about, whether it was the video game related stuff or all the weird tangents I went on afterwards, let me know down below. You could talk about your predictions. If it's your birthday tomorrow as well on Nintendo Direct Day, definitely share that, and I will wish you guys a happy birthday as well. We could party together. I could set up a live stream. Like, anybody that's got a birthday tomorrow, put it in there, and I'll see what I could do about a live stream and just get us all together. We'll just have one big old party. Some point. My wife is glaring at me, so maybe not. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you can be alerted to all the videos that are going to happen at some point, eventually, at some time. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.